What if one of the world's best investors looked at the ASX? That is what we are doing today with Chris Hohn. He is not as famous as Buffett, but his results are extraordinary. Since 2004, his fund, TCI, has compounded at roughly 18% a year, and he has done it with a portfolio of just 9 stocks. So here is the question for today. If we use Hohn's framework as a lens, which ASX companies come closest to what he usually wants in a business?
Before we do though, quick disclaimer. Nothing in this video is financial advice. I'm not a licensed advisor. This is purely educational. Do your own research. Talk to a professional if you need to. All right, let's go.
Chris Hohn runs TCI Fund Management out of London. He launched the fund in 2004, and over more than 2 decades, it has delivered around 18% net annual returns. What makes him unusual is not just the performance, it is the concentration. TCI holds only 9 stocks, and most of the capital sits in the top few positions. The idea behind his approach sounds simple. Find great businesses, hold them in size, and think like an owner. But that is much harder than it sounds. Hohn is also known for activism. He does not just buy shares and stay quiet. He pushes boards to improve efficiency, sharpen strategy, and allocate capital better. That owner mindset is a big part of what makes his approach different.
So what does Hohn actually look for? Based on his interviews, talks, and public letters, I think his approach can be boiled down to 5 hard rules. First, high barriers to entry. Hohn has said this is the most important thing. That could mean an irreplaceable physical asset, strong switching costs, a network effect, or valuable intellectual property. Second, pricing power. Can the business raise prices above inflation without losing customers? Hohn has called that the holy grail of investing. Third, sector exclusions. He generally avoids banks, airlines, commodity businesses, car makers, general retailers, insurers, and traditional asset managers. Fourth, durability. He wants a moat that can still make sense decades from now. And fifth, free cash flow. Real cash coming out of the business, not just accounting profit. On top of those 5 rules, there are also 2 red flags: government-controlled pricing and technology that could weaken the moat.
We applied that framework to the ASX All Ordinaries. That gave us roughly 500 companies to start with, using a minimum market cap of $300 million and at least 3 years of audited results. First came the sector exclusions. Banks, airlines, miners, retailers, insurers, and asset managers were removed. That took the list down to around 200. Then came the moat test. Does this business really have barriers to entry? That cut the list to roughly 30. After that, we applied the remaining rules: pricing power, durability, free cash flow, and the red flag checks. That brought the field down again to around 10. From there, we scored the final 4. And what stands out is not just who passed, but who is missing. The ASX simply does not have local equivalents for some of Hohn's favorite categories, like ratings agencies, payment networks, or listed rail duopolies. So the Australian shortlist is much smaller.
The closest fit is Transurban, ticker TCL. It scored 25 out of 26. Why does it fit so well? Because this is exactly the kind of asset Hohn tends to like. Hard to replace, deeply embedded, and backed by long-term contracts. Transurban operates major toll road corridors in Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. In practical terms, these are monopoly-like assets. You are not going to build a competing toll road right beside them. The approvals would take years, and the capital required would be enormous. It also has pricing power built into the structure of the business. Toll increases are written into concession agreements, often linked to inflation or fixed formulas, and those agreements can run for decades. The main gap is debt. Infrastructure is expensive to build, so Transurban carries significant leverage. That is why it does not get a perfect score. The issue is less the toll formula itself and more the broader concession and financing framework.
The second closest fit is Auckland Airport, ticker AIA. It scored 23 out of 26. This is very close to Hohn's real-world thesis in AENA, the Spanish airport operator. Auckland Airport is the main international airport for New Zealand's largest city. That is not an asset you can easily replicate. It also has a very long useful life, with no obvious technology threat to the core business. The weak point is pricing. Some airport charges are regulated by the New Zealand Commerce Commission. That is not ideal for this lens. But a large part of the business also comes from retail, car parks, and property. That gives it another earning stream. Now compare that with Macquarie Group. At first glance, it looks like a fit. It has exposure to airports, toll roads, and data centers. But here is the key difference. Hohn wants to own the asset itself. Macquarie is usually managing funds that own the asset. That is a different business model, and traditional asset managers are a category he has explicitly avoided.
There are 3 honest limits to this screen. First, management quality. A screen can tell you whether a business looks strong on paper. It cannot tell you whether management is disciplined, shareholder-friendly, or willing to improve under pressure. Second, entry price matters. This framework helps identify quality, but it does not tell you when to buy. A great business can still be a poor investment if you pay too much for it. Third, the ASX universe is simply smaller for this style. Australia has fewer listed companies with the kind of strong, hard-to-break moats Hohn usually targets. That means anyone trying to copy this approach locally could end up with a very concentrated shortlist. In the end, Hohn's framework comes down to one simple question. If this business raised prices tomorrow, would customers still have very few alternatives? On the ASX, the closest matches are mostly infrastructure-style assets, especially Transurban and Auckland Airport. Not because they are automatically cheap, and not because they are exciting, but because they sit in that rare category of businesses that could still be essential decades from now. So the screen is not the strategy. It is just a starting point. It helps you narrow the field and ask better questions. If you found this useful, subscribe. The next video in the Investor Lens series is coming soon.